Hello my friends, I am here with base pages in full color. Today's color is purple, if you didn't guess it by this base page right here. And this hop is brought to you by Ginger from Ginger's Corners. Down below you will see a link to the playlist of all those who are participating, and every couple of days we do a different color. I believe the next color will be brown. For purple, I'm just going to share my base pages because some of them are very simple and similar to things that I've done. And really, I was creating these at 2-3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm just going to go through. I have about 5 of them, I believe. And so here I had 2 big strips of these purple papers. And these are some pretty old, this one and this strip here are older creative memories. This is some solid cardstock. And I inked the edges of all the papers, including the layout itself. And I put a little strip of paper up here just to give a little separation. And so basically this is just about 5 inches. This is about 5 or 6 inches. And so I put a border here. I put a little strip here to kind of separate the 2 colors. And then to just give this a little distinction, I put that there. So that's my base page number 1. Base page number 2. I had, and I don't know where they came from. I don't remember where I got them, but I had these various colorful papers. And so they were all 6 inches. So I'm pretty sure they're 6 inches. And I just inked the edges of all of them and I stacked them in a row. And then I put a strip of paper here and I had this piece of cardstock that was already cut, and I inked the edges of the whole layout. And I can put photos down here. I can put photos of one photo over here as a focal point photo. So that is my second base page. The third base page uses some of the same types of paper, but this time I cut them into banner strips. I inked all the edges of each of them, and I had some shorter and not as wide pieces, so I just kind of alternated, lighter and a little bit darker, and a little bit lighter and a little bit darker in color. I put a paper strip here and put a little darker one on top of it, and I put a strip here, and here you could have 3 photos stacked. You could have a central photo here. So there's a lot that I could do with this. You can't really rotate this because of the words and the patterns, and so that's that. And then I went into my paper strips, and I just alternated dark and lighter and kind of a solid, and kind of staggered the ends. And so I usually, when I do paper strips, so that I don't run out up here and then end up with a little wonky piece, because these paper strips are not always very even. A lot of them came from the border on top of the little strip on top of a paper pad. And so, you had to cut the little hanging hole out. Some were just little pieces like this one that already had a decorative edge. And so I just stacked them. And so usually when I stack them, I start at the bottom and I go about a third of the way, and then I go to the top and I go about a third of the way, and then I keep adding until I get to the middle. And usually I do an overlap towards the middle part that's not very obvious, so that I don't end up getting all the way up to the top and it's kind of a little wonky, and then I have a little odd piece up here. So that's kind of how I do this. And I can tell you some of this paper was very old, like that's a Creative Memories that I used in my wedding album. I can tell you that's a Creative Memories piece of paper. This came from a paper pad. This was, I think that's from Chamel paper. It was a full strip. And so these came off the top of a paper pad, and you know, and then I threw a little bit of solid cardstock in there. And so then I still have a lot of paper strips in purple because I did my wedding album in purples, a lot of purple and a lot of blue. And so I did one on black. And so I don't know, which do you like better, the one on white or the one on black? I'll show you them again. And so again, I just took the strips that I had, and this one was already cut this way. And so I just kind of cut it in half. So I had a piece at the top and up here at the top and a piece at the bottom. And you can see I just kind of alternated the colors until it kind of looked pleasing to my eye. I had this strip, and so here, this strip already had a banner on it. This was already cut at an angle, and I just kind of alternated the length and so that I had them stacked up, and kind of alternated the colors and threw in some solid ones, you know, once in a while to give it a variation and to use up some of my solids. So this is base page number 5 for purple. And you know, you can do a central photo here, you can stack some photos here, you know, lots that can be done with this. Now, because of the orientation of the houses and the flowers, you really can't rotate this. Same with this one. So there's black and here's white. And so I guess I could ask you, which, that's black and that's white. Which one do you prefer? And do you like to do paper, to layer your paper strips and to make layouts from them? Or do you throw all these, excuse me, border strips away? Here is base page number 3. Here is base page number 2. Those will make some nice summer or springtime flower photos, walking in the garden type photos, or just even some, you know, dressier things like prom photos. And this is base page number 1 for the color purple. So I hope that you are inspired by these. I really think I have finally gotten much more comfortable making base pages, and I really look forward to making layouts from these. So my friends, I hope you have time in your craft room this week, and I hope that you are enjoying base pages in full colors. I will talk to you soon. Bye.